Welcome to the Animal Energy Connection Conference. With me is Sabine Poncelet, and she was born and raised in Belgium. She's bilingual, English and French. And her first thing that she got into was being a financial controller and tax professional. She decided that's not the way she wanted to go, and she was working in the United Arab Emirates. And she decided to follow her passion, and that is animal communication. So now she's an animal communicator and energy healer. And she started this when she was 7 years old. So it was a long time passion that took a while to surface. She's taken many courses, and among other things, she's a postgraduate in transpersonal regression therapy from the Tasso Institute in Holland. She's mastered many different healing techniques, and now she's developed her own technique for helping people and their animals. So thank you for coming on, Sabine.
Thank you, Jeff, for receiving me, and hello, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah, so when we talked about what you were going to be talking about today, it sounded like this is going to be, I'm going to call it a lighthearted one, and that is, you're going to be talking about cases that you've seen, what was special about them, and what people can learn from them. So you want to get started on the first one?
Yeah, okay. The first cases I would like to in phases is with a horse who had a navicular disease. I would say this was the biggest story in my career for me. I had, of course, different cases, but that one left me with big memories, I would say, because that horse has been rescued from the racing industry, from the husband of my client, as a gift for her. When that horse entered in her life, everything was fine, but a few months later, they discovered that that horse has many difficulties to walk and even moving. It was very deep. Then they have done many exams, like the usual way that everyone will take. We go to one vet, another vet, one X-ray, another X-ray, etc., etc. Long story short, finally they discovered that horse had a navicular disease, which is for two of the biggest clinics here, was like, we are afraid that we need to put that horse on sleep because it's finished somehow. We can't do anything. We can't heal that. My client is a bit stubborn. Then she decided to do some research with food, how she can change, with any medicine that is existing on the planet. She gave the horse plant, everything she tried. What is existing, I think she have tried. And then she found me. And I've done my first visit with that horse. The horse was really in pain every time he was walking, even without a saddle. That was the level where he was. Then no surprise that they wanted to put him on sleep somehow. He received many injections, steroid, and I don't know what else he received in his body to calm down the pain. Nothing was working. The status was same level. I started a conversation with that horse, asking what is really going on inside him, in his surrounding, what he wants to say also. And then his message has been cleared. I want to live. Okay, that's what my client also perceived. And I think this is why she fight it so much. You know, we speak often about a gut feeling. She had that gut feeling for that horse, and she received the message very well. Then I started the healing on the horse because I do energy healing on animal and animal communication. Then that session was combining healing and communication with the horse. I have done few sessions like that until the horse finally could walk with a saddle on his back. And then slowly trotting, not walking. And then going a bit faster. Months passed and I had to do intensive session on him. And finally, when she changed him from one stable to another, because this was his request also in one of the conversation with him, when the horse went out of the track, the way how he was walking was not the same as before. He was very proud. You could see in a way he was moving, the way he was looking around. You could see that horse was really happy. This is not the horse I've met. I've met a horse who was depressed, who was not happy, who was at the end of his life somehow, because everyone was speaking about this around him. That day, when he left the truck, she sent me a video and I was like, wow, that's not the same guy I've met. From that moment, he started to jump. If I'm not mistaken, I would have to ask her again. I think it was 50 centimeters. You know, it's not a horse jumping, but they were doing exercises with him. And he was jumping 50 centimeters, which is amazing for a horse that normally had to be put on sleep. Yeah. This is the biggest story that left me with big memories, I would say, because I worked a long time also on him. Yeah.
Yeah. So part of your treatment for that horse was actually moving him to a new stable?
Yes, moving him from one stable to another stable, because one stable where he was a small one, and sand only. You know, we are in UAE, United Arab Emirates, and finding grass, now you find, but years ago was quite difficult. Now they do things that we can have parks and everything. Oh. She moved him to a stable where they had grass, because every time I was seeing the horse and doing energy healing, communicating with the horse, he was telling me, I want grass. I want to roll in the grass. I want to eat grass. I want to feel the grass. Okay. Then, passing this message again and again, she found a stable where they have grass. Wonderful. That's the main point, yeah. Otherwise, I've just done energy healing on him. No need to touch him, because energy has no border. I would say it's passing through. You don't need to touch. And communicating with him was somehow, you know, if I can make a resume in a very short way of that story, I really feel that horse had the effect when you go to a therapist and you need to speak, because you can't speak with the family, they will not understand you in the same way, or you are not capable to speak to people you know because you are ashamed, or you feel nobody will listen, nobody will understand me. And I really think today, when I looked back, that horse has the effect of a therapy. Someone was listening to him in a way that we could feel what he wants, because that's my case. I could feel him, and he started to feel understood, which is changing a lot of things in his mental state, being an emotional state. Yeah.
Yeah, that disease that horse had, navicular disease, it is a crisis disease, and yeah, there's no general good way to get them through it except just nursing, praying, and seeing if they'll walk better later. There's no surgery, there's no medication or anything like that. So yeah, I can see why the attitude around him was, we're in trouble and we're going to put you down, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was a great story for that horse, for sure. Yeah. Did she ever get to ride him?
Now she's still riding him less. She passed on her daughter. That's her daughter who is riding him now.
Perfect.
Yeah. But the daughter is a teenager. She's 18.
Yeah, but he's got a home that's loving, and he'll be there till he goes.
Exactly. Yeah. He's loved. He has love to give. He can show what he's still capable to do, because that's the main point of a horse. Horse love to be at the service.
Yeah, that's right. They need a job.
Yeah, exactly. They need a job. That's correct. Yeah. And of course, being into a box, that's not a job. Yeah. Normally was depressed.
I totally agree. Yeah. Horses need to get out and do their thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a success story, obviously. And so I guess now we're going to be going on to a lesser case.
Yeah, I have another case with an iguana, which was very special. It was a sanctuary here in UAE, where that person is rescuing animal, and it's not a zoo, but you know, the border between a zoo and a sanctuary sometimes is difficult to define. but that person was calling that place a sanctuary, and many children could go in a group, especially from school, to visit that place. She had owl, monkey, ostrich, there, many different animals, but I've been called that day for the monkey and the iguana. The best way was the iguana, because that iguana was the only one into that sanctuary. People were coming to see her, but who will speak with an iguana like you speak with a dog, or you start you bubbling with the cat, say, oh my love, meow, whatever. You don't do this with an iguana because we have not been educated this way. Then you look at an iguana, except that if you come from a country where they have iguana, in general, people start to converse with horse, dogs, cats, and others, they are like, not sure. I mean, the common people. Then that iguana felt a bit like they have a lack of. She felt like she is in a circus. That's the conversation I had with that iguana. And that was the first time, by the way, I was communicating with that type of animal. It's not that, honestly, I didn't believe it's possible. It's because I didn't have the experience, and I was like, okay, let's see how the animal will react, because I had the habits to communicate dogs, cats, horses, very common things. That iguana started to explain, listen, I'm in a cage. I want to move more because that cage is not suitable for me. I want more light. It was not the right place. She changed her after. Then I communicate that to the owner, and the owner looked at me like, okay, this looked like a joke, but anyway, let's do it. And the iguana mentioned also, I would like to be touched by people. People are afraid to touch me. Only few of them dare to approach me and dare to touch me. It's like they're afraid that I have a bad reaction. And say, okay, I will pass the message. I passed the message. Within 2 days, she said that to each and everyone. You can touch her. She likes to be touched and everything. Don't be afraid. She's totally okay. Everyone was going to play with her. She turned in a position that she was showing her tummy to scratch her here. And she said, this is amazing. You know, the iguana was not sick. The iguana was just complaining about small stuff. But it was amazing for the animal because she started to entertain the public. And she was also entertained by everyone, which is changing the well-being of the animal. And for the future, of course, this animal has more chances to not be sick. Because more they are depressed, more they're in a bad condition, you have a lot of chances that they end up with a bad disease. Yeah. This is well known. Yeah.
That's great. We in my first hospital, we had an iguana there. We called her Shauna the iguana. But then we found out it was a Sean. It turned out to be a male later on. Oh. But anyway, we had a large aquarium, set up for him. We thought that was pretty good, but he got out every day too. People would pick him up, put him out, and he'd be on the counter, and then he's lying on top of the. This is, if you think of the old computer monitors with the heat.
Oh yeah.
That's where he sat, right? Mm-hmm. And rather than being in his, cage with a heat lamp, but. Yeah, I can imagine that one's saying the same thing, and that he really seemed to like attention, right?
Yeah.
Because kids would come up and they'd be hesitant, but they could, can I pet him? And they said, sure. He was great that way, and they very carefully touch him, but he seemed to like the idea.
Yeah, and they love to be touched. They love the contact, yes. Which is amazing, but many people don't know that. And in the sanctuary, she rescued many different animals, but she had a lot of knowledge, but not about everything and everyone. She's not a vet, she's just a rescuer who is calling vet when they have a problem. Yeah. And that iguana was in the sun, because here we have 50 degrees in July. Then for iguana is the best, I would say.
That's hot. Okay, yeah.
Only June, July, August, September. After that, it starts to go down.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Well, that's great because that being in that position at that sanctuary, people would then start realizing that reptiles need the care as well, need the attention. And that could change the lives of many reptiles around her, right?
Yes, correct.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The monkey that was also in that sanctuary, she asked me to communicate with her because he was very aggressive. It was like, I think we call it a baboon, with the red butt. They are small like that.
Yeah.
They are moving very, very fast, like the one you see in Nepal, but the ass is red. You get the point? They don't have fur.
Yeah.
I think it's a baboon, right? I don't remember the exact name of that monkey.
I'm not a monkey expert, so I don't know.
I'm sorry for the name, but I described the animal how I saw him, and she told me, Sabine is very aggressive. Can you check why? What is going on? Or do healing on him because this is not possible. A new female came into the big cage. It was an enormous cage, bigger than my house, I would say, with many trees inside. And he was okay with the first female, not the second one. Was a big problem. And he was even violent with her. This is why I started to enter in conversation with him. And I remember, through the cage, you can pass your finger like this, but not more. You cannot pass more than 2 fingers into the hole of the cage, Of course, it's a protection for them and for you. And I don't know, now I know why, but at that moment I felt guided and I put my finger in it, okay? And she said, no, don't do that. He's violent, he's aggressive. And I looked at her and said, no, look, he's not. And he looked at me and that monkey was not violent. She looked at me like, oh my God, something is going on here. I said he's violent and all of a sudden he is not. And this happened very often, even with a cat at a vet place where they had a sticker, be careful, he's aggressive. And he was not with me. It depends how you approach them and what type of vibration you spread out also. Yeah. That one was removing, they remove the fleece when they love someone, when they are getting along with another monkey, they pass the time to remove the fleece. He was doing this on my finger. Yeah. That's what he was doing. And he explained why this one was not accepted. I've done the healing. I finished the conversation with him. Within 10 minutes after I finished the healing, even myself, I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. He was calming down. The other female came. He didn't jump on her. And that's the owner of the sanctuary who told me, Sabine, look at his behavior. He changed. I don't know what happened. And I'm like, yeah, we gave him the attention. I spoke with him and I did the healing, no more. Sometimes it's a few things they need. They just need to be heard. They just need to explain what is the problem. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's it. Wow. So in that case, you were a marriage counselor.
Somehow, yes.
I assume that the girl was introduced for breeding purposes.
No, she was rescued and she didn't have the space. I think they had a problem into the introduction. Like when you need to introduce cat, sometimes it's working very well, sometimes it's a nightmare.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think that was the situation, but she didn't have space.
Okay.
That's the only big cage she had, and she thought because it's big, she can find her space there. No, he was attacking her. Yeah.
Oh boy, it's the psyche of animals. Okay. So we've covered monkeys, iguanas, horses. Have you got any that involve dogs, cats, the regular?
Oh yes. Regular work is mainly with horse, cats, and dogs. That's the most common client. Yeah. Okay. First is a dog, a little dog who stopped to eat, and I would say for the first time, a vet has said to the client, maybe you need to see not a psychologist, but an animal behavior or an animal communicator, because honestly, your dog is not sick. Your dog is perfectly fine. I've done all the tests possible we can do, but we have here a problem. What I can do is giving antidepressant for your dog, which is not a solution because the dog is not eating. They have another issue underlying that nobody knows. Right. But the vet could not figure out. He said, on my side, I've done what is possible to do. Then now maybe search on the emotional and mental side and see if you can find professional for that. And that's how she contacted me.
Yeah, that tells me that's a very progressive vet that will actually.
Yes. Yeah, and you know, in UAE 10 years ago, zero vet would open to what I do. Today, vets are listening. The world is changing. Vets are listening. Not all. Many are still, I don't want to say against that, but are still like, it's BS. Stay on the scientific side, you know, but everyone is different. And I've noticed through the years, they started to open much, much more. And yes, she arrived to me in that condition, explaining to me what is going on with the dog. Then I introduced myself to the dog because that dog was quite closed. But what I didn't know, and I figured out later on, the dog was mirroring exactly what the person had in her life. That person just divorced. That person became anorexic, meaning she didn't eat since many, many days, or she was eating an apple per day, something like that. Being very depressed and being very close, like she has placed a shell around her. That was the energy that she was spreading. But I was not in the consultation for that person. Then I didn't check the person. I checked the dog, of course. That's my client. But the dog was mirroring exactly who she was. And then deeper in the conversation, when I could really make a deep connection with the dog, do the healing and everything, the dog said, why I would eat? She doesn't eat. Why I would eat? No way. I don't need to eat if she doesn't eat. And then we went in more detail, which I will not reveal here because it's still the private life of people. But the message was mainly, I'm showing her what she's doing because she's continuing this way. At some point, she will be deeply sick. And I want to help her by showing her this. And then the person started to wake up in the conversation and said, what can I do now? And I'm like, I'm afraid that your dog is passing the message that you need to eat. And when you will eat, the dog will eat. But the fact was, she ate it a bit on the same day, but not enough to convince the dog. Of course, they are far away to be stupid. Huh? Then she contacted me and she said, Sabine, it doesn't work. My dog is not eating. Then I asked again, and the dog said, since she's not eating normally, I will not eat. It was not enough that she is eating a small part like this, just to say, look, I'm eating now, do the same. No. The dog was very far away to be stupid and was waiting to make sure that she's back on track. Oh. And then she's back on track. Okay, my job is finished, because what is my job finally? Showing her that she needs to eat, because if she doesn't eat, she will die, and I will die with her, because that's not a problem for animals. They are ready to sacrifice themselves. They are at the service for us. That's really what they have in mind most of the time. I say often to animals, don't take the energy of the owner, because that's what the owner is asking me. Sabine, tell her or tell him to stop, to absorb my energy. But the answer I receive all the time, either it's a horse, a cat, or a dog, is like, no. No, because I'm here to help him or help her. You have a headache, the animal will start to absorb the headache for helping you to cope with the situation. Mm-hmm. But if you don't fix yourself, that's where trouble starts to come. Because the animal continue to absorb, and then they can also develop a disease because they have absorbed too much. In addition to the pollution, in addition to the bad food and all the stuff, of course. It's not only that, but mainly, yeah, I've seen cases like that where animals are really mirroring what is going on in the life of human. Yeah.
Wow, that's such a strong story, you know, and I've seen that when we had the practice I had was a lot of older senior clients,
Okay.
and often they had senior dogs and cats, right? And yeah, they very much they would mirror what was going on, you know, and it's quite actually freaky how often we would find something in the animal and then find out that the same condition or something similar is in the owner.
Yes.
Okay, how did that get passed on, you know, so to speak, you know, and there's far more than coincidence, far more than.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking earlier about doing a meditation on this, Sabine.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I can guide people through a meditation to help them to connect with animal. I just have to say one thing before we do the meditation is that many people still have the belief that this is reserved for some gifted or whatever, hashtag gifted, I don't know what, people. That's not true. In my case, yes, I started to communicate at 7 years old just because this was already developed. But it's not a gift reserved for some elites or whatever. Everyone has inside, everyone is born with the capability, the ability to communicate with animal because it's a telepathic communication and everyone has. But the fact is we rely on the spoken language because that's how we have been trained from baby's time. Then it's becoming like a rusty muscle because we never practice. We grown up without practicing our telepathic abilities. Then it's become like a rusty muscle and it's really like not dead, but asleep.
Yeah.
But everyone can do it with a proper training. Like to get the 6-step at the gym, you go to train yourself, taking a certain time, is the same to communicate with animal. It will not come in 2 hours or 1 day. You need to train, you need to practice, but everyone can do it. No exception whatsoever. I've seen that with my student here. I teach also in a class. They had different level. At the beginner level, some people are very low, others very high, and then we move on. First level, second level, then we go to the advanced level. And sometimes at the advanced level, I have people who were, let's say, a 0, like null, and the other one who was really advanced in the beginning, beginner level. They come, and the one who felt 0 is going like that. And you have the other one who was pseudo-developed in the beginner level that stays under. The proof is about practice, mainly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just spending the time and doing it is what you need to do.
Correct. You know, it's like you as a vet, you go at school and then you leave the school, you establish a practice, but you don't practice. Will not work. You need to practice for everything in life.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if you don't keep in it, keep practicing, you will lose the ability, right?
Correct.
And in this case, if you keep practicing, you'll get the ability. Right.
Yeah.
So it's not something you can do every, once every few weeks and try it out and say, well, it's not working. No, you've got to keep going. And another of our conference people told me a story about she was told to go out and look at a tree.
Yeah.
So her job was to go and stand in front of the tree and get a message from the tree. And after like 3 weeks, there was nothing there or something. Right. And then finally, she got a message from the tree. So yeah, you can't. It can be something that can be built up. You can practice it, and you can make it work. Right.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So you're ready to move us into a meditation then?
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready. Okay. If everyone is ready, let's go for it. Okay, this meditation will be mainly a grounding exercise, And at the moment when you will be connected, you will be grounded, I will guide you to connect with the animal. It's a beginner level. It's accessible for each and everyone. Okay, let's start. Take a deep breath in and release. Take another deep breath in and release. The only way to stop thinking for you now is to drop your focus down into your heart, in the center of your chest. And I would like now that you imagine yourself to be like a silver ball of light right between your shoulder blades. And then imagine you can feel your own spinal fluid floating up and down into your spine, sparkling with information about you that travels on teeny points of light. And just the thought of it will bring you back to the center of your own spine. Identify what it feels like to be you, what it feels like to be unique from every other being on this planet, on Earth. And now imagine a lighting bolt rising out of the center of the Earth and into the bottom of your feet. This ray of light reach up into your calf area, up to the back of your leg, into your spine, into your neck area, and to the top of your head. Now envision a ray of silver light reaching down from the star and into the top of your head, passing through the back of your neck. It moves like a laser beam down your legs and shoot out from your feet. It goes deep, deep down into the ground and into the center of the Earth. And now you are grounded. Anchor safely this energy. Feel that energy. Feel yourself connected to the Earth through your feet, almost like the roots of a tree. Plant your roots deep, deep down into the Earth. Imagine that your roots becoming bigger, stronger, longer, and planted deeper. Go deep, deep down to plant your roots into the Earth. And feel the frequency moving through you in two directions, ups and down through your spine. Let's bring your attention back to that silver ball of light between your shoulder blades. And with every breath you take, visualize the light reaching out into the universe, like a ray of light emitting a signal, which is your frequency signature. And once you can picture the ray of light, you are ready to establish the connection with the animal. And then open your eyes and look at pictures of an animal that you know, or maybe an animal friends from a friend of yours. Any animal you wish to contact. And we are going to create a standing waves. Envision a silver wave of light coming out of your heart and connecting to the heart of the animal. Connect to the animal on the pictures And the wave that you are forming, don't forget, is real. And it's an holographic information that will travel back and forth along this wave of light. As the wave reaches the animal heart, feel the contact like a plug, like you plug a socket, and acknowledge that electromagnetic impulses that will be exchanged between the two of you. And now I would like that you send the first frequency to the animal. Love. The first frequency that you send is love. I would like that you look into the animal eyes and you start to project love from your heart, like the water passing through a pipe, and mentally just say to the animal how much you love him or her, and ask the permission of that animal to talk with you. A yes answer will feel like a wave of bliss, a wave of tranquility, let's say. A no answer will make you agitated, nervous, sad, or empty. It is really rare that you get a no, but it can happen. And a simple feeling of peace may be all you need to interpret it as yes. Remember, it's a very subtle work. You need to connect with your emotion. You need to feel the sensation. Don't stay in your mind. And if you have difficulties to focus, I would say consider that you have a monkey mind at the back of your head and give him banana. Tell him, go to play now, eat your banana, you will come back later on. I'm busy, I'm working. It's something that's quite funny, but I've noticed it's working very well with many of my students to help them to focus when they have difficulties with concentration. And now, the second frequency I want you to send to the animal is gratitude. This is very, very important. Tell him to the animal how you value that animal. Thanks the animal for being here. Just show your gratitude and then stay there and just take the first impression, first feeling you receive. That's the right one. The animal can pass on you sensation. Sometimes if they are in pain, you can all of a sudden feel a pain in your stomach, in your liver, anywhere in your body. You can have images. Most of the time they like to communicate by sending you images and sensation. I'm very glad to give you that meditation today, and I really hope you will go deeper and connect much more with your animals in this way. Thank you.
So that was great, Sabine. I really liked listening to that. And I really like what you said about interpreting what you get as messages back. In other words, you tell your friend that you want to transmit love. You're sending that frequency of love. And I like how you divided the two responses up, as in the positive response and the negative response. And hopefully everyone just gets a positive response and that's it. But it was nice to see the distinction there, and that is if you've got a dog that does not want to talk to you, maybe, there's ways to interpret that as well.
Yeah. Sometimes they can be busy, Mm-hmm. It's rare to get a no. I get a no 2 times, but it was not a dog, it was a cat.
That and
not coincidence.
We got that from a communicator who talked to our cats. And there was two brothers that we had, and one of them was peeing on the counter, and we wanted to figure out which one was doing it. And interestingly, the funny part was that she went and talked to them. The one that turned out was peeing on the counter didn't want to talk to her at first.
Yeah.
I'm busy, you know, and he was like that. He was so aloof in his life, right? And then finally she broke down. He broke down and talked to her because his brother was doing it. I think he got jealous. And then the message that we came through loud and clear was, well, actually, I like peeing on the counter. It's fun. Okay.
Yeah, they have funny answer that are not funny for us at all, especially when you have trouble with the litter box. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He was trouble forever, but it told us that none of the regular things that we could do were going to work. There was nothing to treat. Right?
Yeah, because it was stuck in his mind, and he decided that's the way. That's it.
This is
he will not change.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. That was a really nice little exercise that you did. Any other thoughts on this to tell people?
I would say to each and everyone, give a chance and try, because it's like now I can hear your throat because I have the habit. I have many people asking me to work on their animal, but when I'm saying, listen, you have the capacity to do it, would be great, you try, whatever. Often the answer, and I'm sure you must, not everyone, but many people must think the same. I can't, I'm not capable, I'm too stressed, I cannot relax, I don't have intuition. You just need to develop. It's practice, practice, practice. You can do it. If you have the wish, the will inside for your animal to do it, believe me, it's an amazing gift, because all what they wait for is you understanding them, because they understand you. They can read you like you are an open book. They know your deepest secret. I had a funny story about this. The guy was still smoking. He said to his wife, I don't smoke anymore. And that's the dog who told me that he was smoking. Just to tell you, they know everything about you. But we are not capable most of the time to feel them, to feel exactly what is going on in the emotional side, in the mental mind. We can with our children because we communicate by words, but if you develop another type of communication, which is telepathy, you will do the same with your animal like you do with your children. You understand them, and that's what they are waiting for, to be listened to be understood.
Yeah.
That's the most important things I wanted to say today. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So thanks for coming on board, Sabine. It's been a lot of fun, you know, and so hopefully everyone's sort of got some ideas on what to do with this. And that is, yeah, anyone can do this. And I just know from my experience, I have these flashes of communication that happen. And it's kind of like, gee, I have it. Can I look at a dog and instantly communicate? No. But the reason is I haven't practiced. So that's what I would need to do. So you'd have to plan on a month every day working on it, you know, and that way you can exercise that part of your brain and get into this. Correct, Sabine?
Yeah, correct. It's almost daily practice. Yeah, to progress and to reach a good level, to keep even your eyes open and look into the eyes of the animal and receiving everything. It's a daily practice. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But it's like the six-pack. Have you seen someone who has a six-pack in 6 months? Doesn't exist. I mean, the real six-pack.
The real six-pack.
Not the implant, the surgery. I mean, the real one from exercise.
Okay. And nothing like my 10-pack.
It's taking time. You get the point? It's for everyone the same. He is also the same. It's taking time. Yeah, it's about training yourself, practicing again and again and again, constantly.
Okay. So thank you, Sabine. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll catch you in the next webinar.
Thank you, Jeff, for receiving me.